Today's video is sponsored by Sun Outdoors. With RV resorts all over the US and Canada, they give you a spot for your home away from home. And if you watch to the end of the video, there's actually a giveaway to help you get a $200 gift card to stay at Sun Outdoors anywhere around the US and Canada. Hey there, fellow travelers, Mark here with Wolters World, and today we're in Old Orchard Beach, Maine at Sun Outdoors Old Orchard Beach Downtown RV Resort. And today we're going to talk about are the don'ts of staying at an RV resort. And I got to start with this one, and that is don't think that an RV resort, an RV park, an RV campground are all the same, because there's definitely a difference in terms of what you're getting in each one of these spots, okay? So if you're thinking about an RV campground, this is more like a campground. You know, you might have some level ground for your RV. You know, it's more like bare bones, back to nature kind of stuff, okay? Now, if you're looking for something with a bit more, with some actual amenities there, then you have an RV park where you're probably gonna have a level spot. You might have some hookups for water, electrical, you never know, there might be Wi-Fi, there might not be, but you have these kind of things that are there, a little bit more in an RV park. But if you wanna have all the amenities and make it more of a resort vacation kind of thing, that's when you go to an RV resort. Because if you have an RV resort, you have a nice, flat, level spot for your rig to go on. You have internet's going to be there, laundry, you're going to have all kinds of stuff, pools, playgrounds, all kinds of things. And it's definitely a different vibe when you're at an RV resort. That's why it's important that you really look and see what you want out of your RV stay when you're thinking about where to stay. For me, it's all about RV resorts. So let's show you around this RV resort to give you an idea of some of those don'ts you really do need to know. Now, when it comes to getting to your RV park, I gotta tell you, don't get there too early thinking you'll be able to leave your RV before check-in. Look, some RV resorts that have the space, they'll let you do that. It's maybe not a problem, but some don't. Especially if you're in high travel season when a lot of people are out RVing and staying at these places. You gotta realize is that there's only so much space in that parking lot to hold RVs. So if 15 RVs come all in at the same time saying, oh, can we leave our RVs here for the day while we go into town? Well, you might have some issues. So make sure you're checking to see when is the check-in time so you can be there at check-in time. So you can get checked in, go get your site, go get set up, get everything hooked up, and then you can go enjoy the city or the town or the nature around you. Because if you come before the other people even checked out, you might have some space issues. Now, another thing I gotta tell you is don't pass up a chance to talk with the staff at the RV resort, because RV resorts are fun and it's much more of a vacation vibe than a hotel vibe. And so they want to help you. They want to give you recommendations. Where are the best hiking trails? What's the best way to get into town? Hey, where can I get the really good lobster when I'm here in Maine at Old Orchard Beach? Actually go to the Shack. I'm like, awesome, and we had a great time. And so use that staff, ask them those questions. They're here to help, but also they're here to help tell you, hey, if you've got a 40-footer, you might want to go this way to go to your spot instead of that way, okay? So don't be afraid to ask what the best way to get to your site is. And also, I want to tell you is don't forget to grab the map of the RV resort when you're at the front desk, because honestly, you may think, oh, I've got this. I've been to hundreds of RV resorts. There's no big deal. Actually, sometimes your left is actually your right and you get a little lost. You're like, where is number 94? You know, so just grab that map, have them circle where you are, where that is, makes life a lot easier. Also, if you do have the bigger RVs, they can give you the best way to get to your spot, so that can be helpful. Now also, since we're by the registration, I think it's important that I mention important things like, hey, don't forget to check out what the hours are, what the times are, what the quiet hours are, the rules and regulations kind of stuff. When you're here, they'll have it on boards around the RV resort, but it's just good to know because you don't want to upset people by being too late in the evening or up too early filming your videos. Just have a knowledge of the rules and they'll have them for you, no problem. But one thing you're gonna love about RV resorts is this. Don't expect that hotel or Airbnb vibe when you go to an RV resort. I mean, this is a RV vacation destination. I mean, Maine is vacation land, but RV resorts are made to make your vacation easier for you. And so when you come here, the whole vibe, the people you meet here, the setup for things, the amenities that are here really helps you more relax and get into that vacation vibe mindset than you do at a hotel where people just walk by you, don't say anything. Oh, no. Here, people will talk to you, people will share things with you. It's just a much more fun, relaxed, chilled out vibe that you'll really enjoy. Now, I've got to be honest with you, when you come to RV resorts, don't expect campground prices, because with all the amenities they have here, all the extras they have here, all that nice flat level spots you get, you do pay a price premium for being here. Now, it's not going to price you out of a budget, but it is something you need to think about if you're going to come here, because you do pay for all those great extras you get when you're here, and for that great location that RV resorts typically have. But honestly, I gotta say this, don't think you're just getting a spot when you come to an RV resort. You're getting the hookups, the water in and out, and the sewage going out, and the electrical, you're getting that. But most importantly, you're getting a flat, level spot for your RV, which is a huge thing. And honestly, which makes it worth every penny. And I think you really notice how much people appreciate RV resorts if you're looking at who's staying here and how people are staying here. Because I really gotta say is, don't think that RV resorts are just for transient travelers that are just there for a day or two. No, you'll see the people actually come here and they'll buy spots, so they'll rent spots for long term, and they'll actually do it up. They might have a storage unit there. They might build a deck for themselves. They have their own grill. I mean, you can really see how they make it a community when they are here, these RV resorts. So just know that there's a lot more to it than just people passing through. With all these things, I really got to say, don't make an RV campground or an RV park your first destination to stay at when you get your first RV. Honestly, you want to stay at RV resort the first time because it's a perfect scenario for you. Nice flat level ground, all of the hookups are there. There's probably better lighting for you to see to do these things. I mean, it's set up to make your life easier. Just remember, an RV resort is just a resort where you bring your room with you, right? And so this makes it a great first kind of foray into your RV life. So make sure you do this, because it makes it so much easier, because you don't want to end up on some campground somewhere not sure what to do on your first trip. That's how you get those crazy stories of people really messing up. An RV resort is a great first place to stay for your first time RVing. And one of the reasons why I'm staying in an RV resort versus an RV camp or RV campgrounds is just because it's what I need, it's what I like, and I did that because I did my research, and that's what I gotta tell you. Don't forget to do your research on the RV resorts you're looking to go stay at, or the RV parks, or the RV campgrounds, because there can be different amenities. There could be different rules and restrictions in terms of the size of RVs they take in. So you do want to check these things out, because if you're gonna go as a digital nomad, an RV resort's probably gonna be better for you because they have internet and they have all the extra little things here. But if you just wanna be back to nature and just basically camping, then yeah, an RV campground is probably better for you. But it is really important to ask yourself, what do you want to get out of your RV stay? And that's going to influence what you're going to need and where you should stay. Now, another thing you need to realize is, don't think that RV parks are just for RV people and van life people and people that already have a whole kit and a setup, because sometimes, not all the times, but sometimes they actually have rentals you can get. And so it can kind of give you a test run of what it's like to stay at an RV park. So if you're looking to get that RV or rent an RV to kind of feel what you should expect at these RV parks, you can do that. Because for someone like me that's not sure if they're ready to get an RV, it really helped me to get a better feel for what's here. So it makes a great kind of test run for those of us that are just kind of stepping our foots into this RV world, okay? Now, another thing I think is really important wherever you're gonna stay, with an RV resort or RV campgrounds, RV camps, is don't forget to look up and see what is really included with your site rental. I mean, what hookups are there? What is provided? If you're gonna be at one of these rental properties like the cabins, make sure you see is what is actually included in there. Are the towels and sheets included or not? Because this is not a hotel kind of setup. This is an RV resort. And so therefore they're more catered towards people that bring everything with them. So that's why it's important to remember to ask them what you need and what you don't need, just so you're better prepared. Because sadly, there's no turn down service with the little mint at an RV resort. Though sometimes you wish there were. But honestly though, one of the most important things you need to realize when you come to an RV resort is, don't forget to bring a laid back attitude. When you're here, you'll see people buy their RV, just chilling out in their chairs, reading a book, maybe talking to their kids, having a drink, grilling up something to eat. I mean, it is very much a relaxation kind of destination kind of place. That's why people will actually put their RVs up here for a while and stay here for months at a time, because the relaxed kind of vibe here. Because honestly, RV resorts really are designed designed to help you relax more. That R in the RV here is more for relaxing, okay? So have the right attitude for it, because people end up staying here more on property than they do when you're going to a hotel that people leave during the day and go explore a city and then come back. This is really part of the adventure when you're here. Now, with the people here all during the day and things, I think there's another don't I think is really important, is that is don't speed in the RV resort. I mean, whether it's RV campground, RV camp, RV resort, don't speed, because you have lots of kids that stay here, lots of people that stay here, and it's not a traditional hallway kind of thing. You have people that are coming, running from between the RVs, between the campsites, between the cabins. So you don't know where people are going to come from, so don't speed. You want to keep it safe. And I know it seems crazy when they're like, oh, it's only a 5.5 mile speed limit. Well, hey, it's important because it's a safety thing with people here, because you'll see people riding their bikes around, or skateboarding, or walking, or running, or taking their dog around. You do want to be careful with that, okay? And another important thing when it comes to the driving here is don't rush into your spot with your RV, okay, or your tow behind, because remember the old adage, measure twice, cut once? It works the same way when you're backing up an RV. Now, sometimes you do see camping spots and tents up at RV resorts, but I gotta tell you this, don't think that camping is allowed at every single RV resort out there. So it's one of those things you need to kind of check before you go. If you're more of a, yeah, I've got an RV, but I like being in my tent instead. So something to kind of think about. One of my favorite parts of RV resorts, and this is one I think is one of the big selling points of it, is the fact that don't forget to explore what's around the RV resort, because these RV resorts, they go where people go. They go where tourists go. They go where the action is. And so you're going to be in an RV resort that's got stuff that you want to see outside the resort. We're here at Old Orchard Beach in Maine. I mean, oh my God, the beach is literally a 15-minute walk from here. Down where they have the boardwalk and the Palace Playland, where you can go do the rides and play the games and do the arcades. I mean, it's all right here. And RV resorts know that. That's why they're in better locations. So if you want to be staying someplace with your RV that's in this kind of center of the action, or at least close to the action, you can't beat it when you're here. And that's why it's important to make sure you go out and explore around the RV resort area. That's why it's important to talk to the other people staying here that you meet, the people at the front desk, to give you an idea of where should I go have the good lobster when I'm here. I actually like the Shack, by the way, if you're here at Old Orchard, but Old Orchard Beach. But you get this kind of idea, you get out to explore. And that gives me another don't I have for you, is don't pass up the shuttle. Because a lot of RV resorts actually do have shuttle services that will take you to that main site, or there might be public bus services that go through here. I mean, there's a trolley that stops right outside that if I don't want to walk the 15 minutes to the beach, it can take me right there. Or if I want to go to the water park that's up there, I can do that. So I don't have to pack everything up, and take off. I can enjoy the location with leaving everything at my RV site. Because honestly, these freebies that are out there, or these little extra amenities, can really make a big difference to help you enjoy your RV resort much more than in an RV park or RV campground. Now, for those of you who like to bring your four-legged friends with you when you're RVing, because let's be honest, they're part of the family. They should come. I will say this, don't be surprised if your friendly, quiet dog at home is not so quiet when you're at an RV resort, because there's so many more people here, there's things going by. They might get a little barky, so just have a heads up for that. And also, don't forget to clean up after your pet when you are at the RV resort. So I'd like to thank our sponsor, Sun Outdoors, and for letting us stay here at the Old Orchard Beach downtown RV resort to get a taste of what RV life is like. I know Jocelyn's all about getting an RV. I'm testing out, but I did enjoy our time here at this RV resort. And I want to tell you that there's actually an opportunity that you could get a $200 gift certificate from Sun Outdoors to visit one of the properties all over the US and Canada. So down below in the comments, put where you would like to go on an RV trip in the US or Canada, and make sure you add the hashtag My Sunnier Side, and then you'll be entered in the competition to win a $200 gift card for any of the Sun Outdoor properties. So go and put where you'd like to go down below, and we'll have fun. Though I gotta tell you, it's only for US and Canadian residents 18 and older, all right? So have a great time, and I'll say bye from here in Maine.